Welcome to this new how-to. In this how-to we're going to look at how you can use ForeFlight Mobile in combination with Flight Simulator 2020. I will show you two methods which are using, let's say, freeware tools to connect ForeFlight to Flight Simulator 2020. And the first one we're going to look at is flight events. You can download it from events.flighttracker.tech. And what you need to do is you need to download, I would say at least one piece, but it's recommended to have two pieces downloaded. And you can do that by pressing the join button. And there you will see the option when going to the download page, download FE client for Msfs. I will zoom in a bit. This is the component which is mandatory. And in addition to that, you can download the download Msfs toolbar panel, which allows you to, let's say, show an in-game flight events window where you can see the map and I would say join or see different things like, okay, you can see the upcoming events, other aircrafts, etc. This one requires you to download it and then let's say run it. I'm gonna show it. So I've downloaded already in my downloads folder. Here's the flight events, and inside the flights event folder, let me zoom in. You see the flight events .client. That's the executable. So you can simply double click it, and when you double click it, it will run. It could be that the first time you run it, it will show you a warning it's not trusted. In that case, select okay, hey, I'm sure, and then run the software. Keep in mind, this is caused by the packages not being signed, which results in Windows to show you a warning. Once it's running, you need to go to settings and make sure that you enable the broadcast data to local network. That's this option. And in addition to that, you can set the show landing rate option. That shows you the landing rate, and it could be useful. You could disable the Discord rich present, and you can enable the slow mode, although I didn't do that. By default, the minimize to taskbar is also not enabled, but I also enabled it. Once you've did that, you can or you need to change your call sign because else everybody would be the same. So I'm gonna change it to ASXGS01. And as you can see, Flight Simulator is already running. If it's not running, it will show disconnected, and once you started Flight Simulator, it will, I would say, change to connected. Even if it's connected, it will not track anything until you click on Start Flight Tracking. So let's do that. Let's zoom out and then go to Flight Simulator to press the Fly Now button. As you can see, it's already there because I already pressed the Fly Now button. And if you click on the Fly Events button, you will see this window popping up, which shows you your exact location, allows you the ability to zoom in, right, or zoom out. And there are some other functionalities like, okay, want to use the OpenStreetMap or the OpenTopo map. You can use different maps, what you prefer to have a look at. But of course, this is the built-in maps from flight events, and that's not what we're interested in. So let me go back to flight events. So I need to go back to my desktop. So as you can see, the client is still running, but what we now need to do is we need to go to our mobile device, for example, an Android or an iPad, depends on what kind of device you have. And you can do that by downloading the, what's it called? The ForeFlight mobile app. Keep in mind, ForeFlight is not a free solution. You can download a trial solution which will give you 30 days trial, although it's limited. It does not have all the options. And after that, you need to buy a monthly or yearly subscription. Are there other options to track your flights? Of course there are, right? That we've discussed already multiple tools. One of them I will show you is this one is Volanta, which also has a lot of options. However, if you see, I would say the other application like ForeFlight, you can see that it has much more options. So let me switch to ForeFlight and show you what it contains. Oh, wrong window. So here you see the ForeFlight mobile app. By default, it will normally show you the place where you are. But to do that, you first need to connect your mobile app to your machine, to your PC. And you can do that by pressing on the devices one. Here you will see the flight events option. And if you click on the flight events option, you can enable it like this. And then go back. Then it shows flight events connected. And then when you go back to the maps, you should be able to see your aircraft. Let me see where it is. Here you see it. So it's the blue dot. So from here on you can do different things, right? You can just go and fly out VFR, or you can do other stuff like let's say scheduling a flight. For example, if you hit the FPL button, it has a built-in flight planner. Keep in mind that this flight planner is completely separate from what a flight simulator has, right? So I can type in EHRD, and then I need to press enter, and then I can zoom out a bit, and for example select another waypoint. Well, let's zoom a little bit further out, and then for example at Rotterdam. You can click on it, and then you can say add to route. Then we go to STD, and we can also say add to route, and then finally we go to what shall we do? Whoa, no thanks. Do you want to track a new flight? Yes, why not? Because then it keeps track of your flights which you're doing, right? So that's also cool. And then eventually we go to this one, add to route, and then we can close it for now. So once we've did that, we can switch to Flight Simulator and simply start flying. So let me do that as we speak. I changed the weather, by the way, because it's currently is I would say not the most nice weather in Rotterdam. It's raining like crazy. Once we're airborne, I will switch back to the iPad app and show you what happens. But first, we need to go airborne. Whoa, somehow he tries to fly with a really big aircraft from Rotterdam Airport, right? Rotterdam Airport is known for its, let's say, slow frames per second. Somebody tries to fly with a really big aircraft. I think it's an A380 if I'm correct. So now we're airborne. I will show you how it looks like in the ForeFlight app. So need to press the correct buttons again. So as you can see, it keeps track of where I'm flying to, which is really cool. And the advantage of ForeFlight that it also keeps track of the actual weather and all kind of other information, which is really useful for you, I would say, during your flight. So that's the cool thing. The other thing is that the flight event one, also keeps track of where you are, right? So it can show you where you currently are normally, but you need to select your aircraft. In this case, we know that we provided this one, so we say show info and show route. And then you will be able to track yourself how you're flying. So it's a nice option, right? It gives you a lot of opportunities. Again, keep in mind that the mobile app for Flight Simulator is not free. So that's something to be really aware of, because I would say it's not very cheap, to be honest. Let me show you the map again. So this is the map, right? So you can see multiple things. Let me pause Flight Simulator temporarily, because also I might crash, and that's something I want to prevent. So you can see a lot of things. So for example, you can see where I'm flying, but you can also see the waypoints. But on the bottom, you can also see the distance to the next waypoint, the ground speed, the GPS altitude, the track, so the direction you're flying, and the accuracy of flight events. The app, it's 1 meter, which is pretty accurate, and your current coordinates. If you're pressing the FPL button, you will be able to go to performance, and there you're able to change the units if you want. For example, you can change the airspeed units and a few units. And if I would normally, I would say continue to fly, then you will be able to see the actual, let's say, speed and fuel usage of the aircraft. The same thing is applicable for the altitudes, right? You can calculate, okay, what's the best altitude, and as you can see on the bottom, you can switch between VFR, IFR, westerly, easterly, and all, which will make sure that you're showing the right track. So those are, I'd say, nice things. In addition to that, you've got the nav log, and the nav log simply keeps track of, okay, what's the how long does it take you to go to the next waypoint? What's the distance from one leg to the other leg? So all kind of cool information. So this is the first method you can use to connect to Flight Simulator 2020. Now there is another way, which I will show you. Let me first make sure that I have to download. Yes, I've got it. Press Ctrl Alt 4. And the second one is one from Mr. Estenlund, and it's FS2FF. You can download the latest version from this website. I will post links to both tools in the description of the video. Here it says what you need to do, right? So you need to do some kind of stuff. You need to download if you really want to build it. But normally you don't want to build it yourself, because you simply want to download the latest one, and that can be done from the right side. So you can simply download it and then download this file, and then you will have it. Once you've downloaded it, you can start it. So I've already downloaded it here. Again, this one also shows the warning that it's not signed. So you can double click it, and you see the warning, and then you can say run anyway. It will say, hey, I need to add a firewall rule, and that's of course to allow your tablet to connect to it. So I will normally say okay, and then you can say connect, and as soon as you can see, as you see it's connected, then it's connected to Flight Simulator. There are some other options like the device IP and which data it exchanges, right? The position, the traffic, and the altitude. Which is fine for now. Let me see if the device is already shown in yes, It's already shown here, so that's cool. So I will close the other one, the flight events, because the flight events, I don't want to use it. So once you're connected here, you can switch again to the tablet. Let me make sure it switches to the tablet. And here you will see, I would say, the same box. However, it now has a different title. So it now is called Msfs instead of, what is it, flight events. So you can click on it, enable it, then go back again. And if you would click on the maps, normally when we would go back to Flight Simulator now, it should pick up everything automatically. As you can see, both are, I would say, useful tools. The other one, the Flight Events, also has a nice web API and some nice add-ins within Flight Simulator. But if you simply only want to track the URL to it and your flight position, then FS2FF might also be a valid solution for you. Besides these two, there are also two, I would say, paid versions. One is the Msfs Bridge, and there's another tool which is called, I'm always forgetting names. So let me quickly look it up. That tool is called something like Yammy or Yammer, or no, not Yammer, of course. Where was it? Xmapsy. But Xmapsy also is not for free, although they've got, I would say, a trial version available, but that has limited functionality. So if you want to use a flight tracker, then flight events or FS2FF are suitable options. If you want to use it again in combination with ForeFlight, then keep in mind you will need to have a subscription. And the subscriptions are, I would say, not really cheap, right? So let me call out some numbers for you. I will call them out in euros. So if you would go for the personal aviation one, and so it starts at roughly $95 or euros per year, and the Performance Plus is 270 euros per year. Keep in mind that depending on the option you select, it has multiple other cool things. For example, the most expensive one even has options to do 3D views of the airport, which is cool. But yeah, you can also do it using Flight Simulator, of course, and several other enhancements. For example, pre-departure clearance and D8 and that's what not included in the basic plus version. So it really depends on what you want to do with ForeFlight. It's not really expensive, and if you really, I would say, want to track your flights, you might want to have a look at Volanta, right, which is free and also allows you to, I would say, create flights, track your flights. But as far as I know, Volanta doesn't have, I would say, a mobile app yet, and that's what some people like, right? Because if you, I would say, are flying in Flight Simulator, then in most cases people are using a tablet or something in addition to that to keep track of, hey, where I'm flying, etc. It might be an option to use Volanta in a browser. It's something I need to try because I think this is this might be a valid option. So probably we'll create a new flight about that, or a new video about that. To see how well that works, and keep in mind that Volanta, the core features are free. They are planning to add some premium features, but that's what they are calling out on the website, and I didn't see any, I would say, information about that yet. On the roadmap, they show a lot of things being added. For example, showing the weather, etc. But it's not clear if that's part of the basic version or that you need to have a subscription for that also. I am assuming that it will be free, but that's an assumption. So let's see. I think Volanta will be, I would say, a kind of competitor with the other two solutions. Advantage of Volanta is, of course, that it works directly, so you don't need to have any additional software installed because it automatically connects to Flight Simulator. This is where this video ends. Hope you liked it. If you liked it, then consider to press the like button. If you've got questions or comments, then please feel free to drop them or to paste them in the comment box below the video. And if you want to stay up to date about new videos I'm posting, then consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time.